These 10 habits keep me super lean, muscular, and more importantly, energized all year round. No diets needed. It feels easy. And that's the point you want to get to, where these habits feel automatic and easy and you can stay shredded. I'm pretty much shredded year round now, but as a byproduct of your habits. So let's start with number one. Water and electrolytes before caffeine. Now, people overlook this, and with clients, a game-changing hack for their energy and how they feel, and even blunt an appetite, is simply having water and electrolytes before they reach for the coffee in the morning. So I've been doing this for a long time now, where I just get up, roll out of bed, make my 1 liter, 1.2 liters to be precise, of water, mix that with electrolytes, creatine, and citrulline as well, actually, which is good for performance. And I'll have that generally before my coffee, or at least I'll have water, just without electrolytes anyway, like a glass when I get up, and then I'll sip the electrolytes with the water and fill that back up and take that to the gym with me. But I'll do that strategically, that 1 liter, some with electrolytes, some on its own, before I have the coffee. Now, what does that do? When you wake up in the morning, your adrenal system is activated, right? It's raring to go. Cortisol levels are higher, even adrenaline as well when you get out of bed, especially cortisol, norepinephrine, those kind of stress hormones, but definitely cortisol. And what that'll do when you have coffee is, number one, you're waking up dehydrated as well. So you're losing about, I don't know, let's just say give or take 500 to 750 mil of water in your sleep. So you're waking up dehydrated. And it's not just about having water. It's about getting water into the tissues and into the cells and actually effectively hydrating. And you need salt primarily to do that. You don't necessarily have to spend a lot of money on electrolytes. You can literally just have a quarter teaspoon of salt with a quarter of a lemon, half a lemon squeezed with a liter of water. Boom, do that, then have your coffee after. Now, some research shows if you delay the caffeine for like 90 minutes after, you'll get even more sustained energy throughout the daytime, but that depends on how much sleep you've had as well. I do notice that I feel a little bit better in terms of sustained energy in the mornings in particular if I delay the caffeine. But I'm going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week and I want that double espresso straight away. So I literally have that double espresso while I'm training 4 or 5 days a week within about, 15 minutes of waking. But I get that water and electrolytes down me first, hydrate, and that makes the world of difference to your energy levels, hydration, and how you feel. And there's a side effect. Obviously, I stay lean because it's going to blunt my appetite more. It's going to keep me satiated, which I'll get to next anyway. So number 2 is I have black coffee in the morning, which I do just for productivity and because I really enjoy caffeine, right? I'm a caffeine addict, to be honest. I don't go crazy with it, but I do have probably around about, 4 shots of black coffee in the morning, not all at once. I have 2 double espressos essentially, or long blacks as they call them here, if you want it with more water, but it's 4 shots of coffee in the morning. And I do that, and what I find is I can get my work done, it blunts my appetite, and yeah, simple as that really. So I have dark chocolate as well though, like I've said before, that's kind of my vice. So I have that, to be honest, in the morning before I break my fast. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to people, right? Because it's high in calories, right? When you're having 85 to 90%, this is what a lot of people in the keto kind of carnivore space say. They're all hell-bent on getting the high fats and the low carbs, but actually they're the most energy, calorie-dense food you can eat, right? When you're having like added fats like dark chocolate. So it's all good to have, and it's a way better swap. And obviously you do get the polyphenols and some of the antioxidants in there as well, and nitrates and stuff. But also I just find it really doesn't make me want to overeat generally most of the time. So I have that. In the morning, we'll say my second coffee normally. I'll have my 50 to 60 grams of dark chocolate, which again, disclaimer, that's about 300 calories. And that kind of blunts, it takes my mind off food. And also it has caffeine in it and bromine, I think the word is, the other stimulant that you get in dark chocolate. So that's another strategy for me as well. Number 3 is, the third habit is a nutrition-related habit. And that's it's basically these kind of 5 foods that I have, which are whole meat and the most nutrient-dense foods that I eat, and they enable me to get my protein in, and also minerals, loads of minerals, some vitamins too, and essential fats on top of that. So it's meat. So I eat meat basically so I have 2 meals a day on average, not including the dark chocolate, right? You can call that as a snack. We're not going to call that breakfast because that's an incomplete meal, right? So that's an incomplete meal, but 90% of the time I'm having complete meals. That's why I don't like clients and people say, what are healthy snacks? I like to give them options, of course. But the reality is there's incomplete meals and complete meals. I want you eating complete meals most of the time, right? Proper meals. So my first meal will be, I eat, I would say 80% of the meat that I eat is beef, grass-fed beef, a combination of ground beef, as you guys say in America, or beef mince and Scotch fillet steak, essentially. So I'll have that with meal one. And I also, with meal one, probably every day or every other day, I'll have eggs. So like maybe 4 to 6 whole eggs I have at the moment. And by the way, the reason I do these episodes and I repeat them, like 10 habits, 5 habits, because things change. And I like to give you different perspectives and reasons why, and, kind of stuff which is based on research on what works as well in terms of nutrient-dense foods. Just wanted to put that one out there. But anyway, back to that. So that's meat, eggs, avocado. I add some avocado, which is calorie dense, but also it's, 80 is the only fruit which is primarily fat, right? It's 80% fat, low in sugar, fills me up. I enjoy avocados as well. And I'll fry that in either ghee oil or beef tallow, that meal. And that's pretty much it then. Every other day, what I'll have is beef liver. The reason I have it every other day is because I want to be getting essential nutrients in like vitamin A, also K2, choline, which is liver and egg yolks, have the highest amount of choline in them, which is really important for brain health. And people overlook these essential nutrients and minerals and stuff that you get from these foods, which you can only get from organ meat, right? And the interesting thing is there's so much variance with people that some people can get away with having less liver because there's absorption issues as well with certain minerals. So that's a long story, but I have that every other day to make sure I'm getting that dose of minerals that I need primarily, right? So I have that with that meal one every other day. Eggs is pretty much every day, but I would say, I don't know, probably 5 days a week I'll have, 4 to 6 eggs with that first meal as well. And my other 2 protein sources, that's 3, right? We got meat, we got liver and eggs, all from grass-fed, grass-finished cows, by the way. Then I've got whey protein then as well that I have with my Greek yogurt, and I'll have that most days, to be honest, in the evening. Whey protein, it's not Greek yogurt, actually, it's whole organic yogurt. And they're my main protein sources. Again, what are they coming from? Good quality meat, organ meats, and dairy. So, and obviously poultry, right? Eggs. So that's what I'll do, right? And that'll blunt my appetite then for most of the day. I look at protein and fats together for meal one, and that keeps me satiated most of the day. Plenty of salt as well, by the way, loads of salt. Like I said at the start, people go wrong there and they get cravings for sugar when really they're just not having optimal amounts of sodium. And in some cases, hydration as well. To be honest, that's the main thing. It's hydration. People mistake hunger for thirst as well. But obviously, the salt helps with that. So I assume a lot of you guys listening are probably eating a lot of whole foods because you're educated, hopefully. Make sure you're salting the shit out of your meals, right? Because you're not having ultra-processed food which are loaded with salt. So you need to make sure. And actually, it's very common for people to come to me that I coach that they're actually having suboptimal levels of sodium and electrolytes. Which holds them back, right? And it really, nothing's going to mess your energy up more than just not being hydrated, right? And not having stimulation for your muscles and stuff as well, which is what you get from electrolytes. So anyway, and brain as well, not to mention. So yeah, so that's what I have for my protein sources. That's habit number 3, my main protein sources, and I'll have the yogurt and whey protein in the evening, which takes me on to the next habit anyway. Habit number 4 is I eat twice a day most days. So the reason I do that is because mainly for me, it's all about performance and productivity and how I feel. So that's number 1. But number 2 is I eat less if I eat in a smaller window. So that's why my stance on intermittent fasting, and people rave about how fasting is so good for fat loss and weight loss. The main reason why is because it's harder to get all of your calories in to a smaller window. That's the main reason why people lose weight, at least temporarily. Most of them don't keep it off because if they go back to eating like they did before, which most people do, they don't stick to intermittent fasting and stick to eating low carbs, for example, and whole foods forever. They normally go backwards. At some point, they revert back to how they were eating. They gain the weight back, right? So, yeah, anyway, I eat twice a day because I find it easier to not eat as much, number 1. But also, I really enjoy eating massive meals, to be honest, right? I just really enjoy big, hearty meals. I love food, right? Simple as that. So I eat twice a day. And that's the other habit. You can include the dark chocolate, technically 3 times, right? And that takes me to the next habit. Next habit is number 5. But yeah, I would just say intermittent fasting. I don't look at, this is habit number 4 still. I don't look at it as intermittent fasting, but I just like to eat about midday. So I tend to break my fast, not including the dark chocolate, at around about, I don't know, on average, probably about 1 p.m. And then I'll have my last meal, which I'll get to next, which is the 5th habit in terms of carbohydrates. I had the last meal, I try to finish eating by about 5:30 p.m. I like to give it at least 4 hours before sleep. Tend to go to sleep at 10 p.m. Obviously, I track my sleep and stuff, and I'm aware of the impact on your HRV, heart rate variability, which impacts your recovery and your body's ability to recover when you eat them within 3 hours before bed for most people. So, yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. So eating twice a day most days and whole food meals. And I tend to backload my carbohydrates, which is habit number 5. So habit number 5 is backloading carbs, having the carbs in the evening. I like to earn my carbohydrates, but more importantly, protein and fats that I have with that first meal of the day, it keeps me satiated for the whole day. And I look at that meal as productivity, right? I'm going to get sustained energy from this. Generally, I'm not going to feel tired. Like if I have a massive hit of carbs, generally I'll feel a bit tired after. Generally, you're going to release more serotonin and you're going to get a spike in blood sugar levels. And for me, I notice I just feel a bit calmer, which can be a good thing as well sometimes, by the way, even in the daytime. But for the most part, I want to be getting after it in the day and getting shit done, right? Being a business owner and serving my clients, etc. So I backload that. This is habit number 5. I backload. I'll have, on my training days, sometimes I'll have white rice now because I'm training more, I'm doing more volume. And having carbs straight after training does help with recovery. The next day, so when you train the next day, your performance increases by 30%. Research show. That's not to say yours is going to do that exactly. But for me, I do notice that I feel better and I actually sleep better, weirdly, right? Not weirdly. It drops my cortisol levels, I would imagine, when I'm having a carb hit after lifting weights. Some days, not every day. White rice I'll have, basically. It's low sugar though, right? So I'm not having sugar like fruit. The second I have fruit, generally, I feel like it triggers something in my brain. I want to eat more sugar, and it kind of distracts me, other than avocado. So that's what I'll do, right? So I'll sometimes have it after training, but generally I'll backload the carbs most of the time to that evening meal with white rice, which I find is fast to digest, easy to digest. Now, a lot of people in the, the carnivore and keto space will say, white rice is so bad for you. Not really. If you can digest it, it's actually a really quick source of energy. So, yeah, simple as that, really. Now, potatoes, I recommend these for most people if you can digest it. Now, what I find is most of my clients, they just don't digest potatoes as well. So white rice and fruit and stuff, they tend to digest a bit better, the same as me. So I'll have that quick source of energy. I'll replenish with my meat in the evening with white rice and meat on the training days in particular. Or I'll just have maybe a bit of meat and then I'll have my Greek yogurt with whey protein and fruit. Like my go-to fruit is berries, blueberries. I have frozen banana. I actually keep it frozen as well. I keep the blueberries frozen. I have the banana chopped up frozen. And I sometimes have frozen pineapple as well. Boom, in a bowl with Greek yogurt. Sometimes a little bit of honey. Sometimes no honey. Sometimes a little bit of whey protein in there as well, which makes it taste better. I got this vanilla whey protein, which is decent quality. And I do that. But I don't do that to get the protein in. I do it because I like the taste, right? So that's what I'll do in the evening time, right? I'll backload that, and then I find I feel calmer, like I said, and I enjoy eating carbohydrates, right, with my meals, to be honest. So I'll give you an example. Tonight, I had meats. This is what I ate today. I do eat sardines. I do eat some chicken thighs as well, by the way. Like I say, most of the time it's grass-fed beef, but today I just had chicken thighs in the fridge, had that, meal 1, half an avocado. Sardines I try to cycle in as well for iodine, for omega-3s, a good hit of calcium as well because I have them out of the tin, so there's the small bones in there. So I had chicken thighs, I had a tin of sardines, I had 4 eggs fried in beef tallow, and I had half an avocado with that first meal, and I had dark chocolate before that as well, right, 90%. Had that, I've eaten nothing else, and now it's the evening, so after this I'll be eating, and I'll be having a bit of beef mince, not a great deal though, because it's the evening and it's slower to digest, right? It heats up your body temperature. It's hard to digest on the body, red meat. So try not to have too much in the evening, especially because I want to have my Greek yogurt, my whole organic yogurt with fruit as well tonight, right? I'm hungry tonight. So I'm going to be having that. I'll be having like beef mince, white rice, By the way, we have a rice maker for the white rice, which literally you put it into a bowl, flick it on, put the water in, and we add garlic and turmeric. That's our new thing, is garlic and turmeric rice. Epic, tastes great. Obviously, turmeric's really good for you. Anti-inflammatory properties, even anti-carcinogenic properties as well in turmeric. And I enjoy the taste as well, right? So, yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll have my beef mince mixed in with rice, and then I'll have the Greek yogurt after with fruit. Maybe I'll throw in some whey protein. I use organic berries, and I'll have some frozen banana as well mixed in there. So that's what I'll have this evening. So I backload those carbs. That's habit number 5. Before I get into number 6, right, I want to offer you my reverse dieting muscle gaining program for free. And I put that into the show notes for you to just grab for free. The link's in the show notes. Also, if you haven't had a metabolic assessment yet, it's incredible, this metabolic assessment, because it pinpoints exactly where your unique body is, gives you a metabolic score, and shows you the fastest, most effective path for you to get maximum results. So if you've stalled with fat loss, for example, or you've stalled even with muscle gain, it'll show you exactly what to do. It gives you a plan as well, and it'll show you where your metabolic health is out of 100. It's a really good tool. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to fill out. So both of those links are in the show notes, so grab both of them. I mean, they're free, so why not, right? Habit number 6 is obviously strength training. Now, I always talk about this. I'm not going to go too deep into that, but I do resistance training most days, pretty much every day. Now, when I say resistance training, it's not all lifting hard and heavy weights all the time every day, because that would be too much on my body. What I do right now, for example, I'm doing 2 upper body sessions in the gym and 2 leg sessions in the gym. And I try to throw a little bit of core into legs, but I hate doing core, so I normally skip it. So that's what I'm doing, right? 4 days a week. Now, on the 5th day, I go for it. Like this morning was the 5th day. It was a recovery day. I walked so this is what I'm doing right now, right? So I'll do like 2 days where I'll train. 1 day, either a rest day where I'll walk to the beach. I'll do more walking in the morning. Like this morning, went for a nice swim at Bondi Beach. Felt amazing afterwards. And that's it. It'll just be an active day. Sometimes I'll do a band session as well, like 10 minutes, but I won't be doing that today. I'm just going to have a complete rest day. Then I'll do, for example, upper body tomorrow, legs the following day. Then I'll have a rest day on that 3rd day, but it won't be a rest day. Most of the time, it'll be bands. So I'll be doing bands on that recovery day, and that aids recovery. With the bands, it's literally 10 minutes, quick circuit, low intensity, with rubber resistance bands, the ones with handles on the end. And what that does is that adds to the total training volume, so it actually helps me build muscle. It speeds recovery up in between workouts, increases strength, and also boosts my metabolism. So it means I can eat more. Like I say, I love food. So strength training pretty much every day is obviously the main reason why I'm staying muscular, staying lean, because when you lift weights, it speeds your metabolism up, so your body burns more calories. So you can get away with more food, and it's easier to stay lean. I've been lifting weights now for 2 decades, right? Consistently. Stay consistent with strength training. That's the number one thing for your metabolism, and it's the number one thing for you being able to stay lean, but also for health and longevity, right? Physical strength, and obviously skeletal muscle tissue. Skeletal muscle is the biggest organ in the body, and muscle is actually known as the longevity organ. Number 7, no checking emails or anything work-related, like checking client messages, or any DMs or anything like that. Everything, all of that stuff is all work-related for me. Everything on my phone is work-related, right? I have a business. It's an online business. All my clients are online. I have to put content out there non-stop. Emails, it could be admin related. It could be my accountant messaging me. It's going to relate to something which is going to take me out of a calm state. Now, this is the most overlooked, underrated habit in the world. Most of you, I guarantee, listening to this, you get up in the morning and you check your phone first thing. Hell, most of you, and I'm not looking down on you, by the way, because I used to do this. Most of you, though, you probably get up early hours in the morning. What's the first thing you do? You check your phone. Number 1, get the phone out of the room. This is a bonus tip, by the way. Get the phone out of the room, get an alarm clock. That's what we do. We don't have the phone in the room at the night time, but the habit I'm getting to is not checking anything on your phone first thing. Even if it's 10 minutes to yourself. If you haven't got 10 minutes, you haven't got a life, like Tony Robbins says. Do something to fill your cup up first. Now, this for me, it helps me operate at a high. I wouldn't be where I'm at now. I wouldn't have been able to keep my business. My mental health would have suffered. Even my body would have probably suffered a bit in terms of how I look as a byproduct if I didn't do something for myself first thing in the morning, fill my cup up first so I can serve the world better, right? I'm more effective. I make better decisions. But even if it's 10 minutes of going for a walk, right? Just don't check things on your phone first thing. Even if you have you're tempted to check it, right? If you listen to a podcast, that's the only thing. ideally just no phone. Let your mind wander. Go out, go for a walk. But yeah, I've got the phone on me. The only things I do check, first thing I do check, right, this is nothing work related, it doesn't stress me out, is I check my Aura sleep score, right? That's the only thing I check. Bit of too much detail here, but literally as I'm having a pee, this is my morning, I get out of bed, I get my phone, I go for a pee, and I check my Aura score, because then I know where my body's at, right? I can feel it straight away anyway, right, where my body's at, but it tells me where I'm at. Some days it might be like I've got a leg session and my recovery hasn't been the best, and I'm like, okay, I got to scale back that workout, and that tells me, like, it gives me a data on what my body can handle that day. That's why I check it, check where my sleep was at. That's the only thing I check. Now, full disclaimer, the only other thing I do check, as a business owner, anyone will tell you, especially an online business owner who's creating content, we're dopamine junkies. So we get obsessed with checking stats and numbers. My one obsession is what you guys are playing into here. This is your fault. Checking the numbers on YouTube and the click-through rate, for example. How many people click the thumbnail? That's the other thing I'll check sometimes, right? But for me, that's not checking work. It's not stressful. It's just something I do to boost my dopamine on top of caffeine. But I don't check anything that stresses me out, that takes me out of a calm state at all. And I don't check YouTube most of the time. Like 80% of the time, I don't check it because I know that can sometimes not be ideal. So don't check your phone. Don't check any emails. Don't check social media especially. I don't go near social media. That's the main one. Do not go on social media first thing in the morning. That's just my advice to you. But I do this, and it just keeps me in a calm state. It just levels up every area of my life. It's a winner's habit. Winners do this. Every winner I've looked up to, whether that's multimillionaires I've had as mentors who are having a big impact on the world, or people who just take care of themselves, winners do not check all that shit first thing in the morning. They take care of themselves first. Number 8 is walking after my meals, obviously getting my steps up. I do a lot of activity, a lot of steps, and I average around about probably 12,000 steps a day on average. I get most of my steps in because I walk after my 2 meals. So I go for a nice long walk after both of those meals, and if you can factor that into your daytime, do it. In terms of blood sugar levels, they actually did a study, and they found that if people could even walk 10 minutes after their meals, it would completely change their metabolic health and level it up, due to the impact on blood sugar levels, insulin sensitivity. It would make them more insulin sensitive, and it could actually reverse diabetes in a lot of people, type 2 diabetes, just by walking after eating. That's how powerful it is. So if people did that in America with the awful state America's in now, for example, with most of the world, to be honest, Western world, particularly America, if they did that, that's what it would do. It would literally start reversing some of the metabolic health disease just by doing that. And also, it helps you feel satiated. So when I go for that walk, it makes me, because I love food, like I say. So if I'm eating, sometimes I'm searching around for more food. Sometimes I just set myself a rule. I'll go, look, go for a walk. If you want to go to the shop, or if you're still hungry, 10, 15 minutes into that walk, you can eat when you get back. I never do. Once you walk, blood flow to the stomach, gravity, it must speed up the signal of the gut sending GLP-1 or whatever, probably to the brain, or whatever that is, or even leptin, which is produced in the gut, right, which is a satiety hormone. I haven't looked into this, but my guess is it speeds up that signal when you're walking, right, because gravity, blood flow to the gut. So walking after meals is a game changer. That's how I get all my steps in. But look, this is how I stay lean all year round, right? Walking, man. I'm telling you now. It's underrated. People, should I do cardio? Should I do this weight? Should I do this hit? Nope, just walk more, right? It'll change your life, longevity, and also just staying lean. It's the number one trick. Bedtime routine. This is number one for me. This sets up my whole day from the night before. So I got the blue light blockers. I put them on 3 hours before bed, give or take, with the orange lens on them. I dim the lights down, so I'll turn the lights off and I'll just put the lamp on, or like the red salt lamps, 2 hours before bed. So it's sending the signal that it's nighttime for my brain, increase melatonin, drop cortisol, and I'll avoid screens at least 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Definitely my phone and laptop. Sometimes if I've had a really stressful day, I will watch Netflix just to kind of switch my brain off, like I want a bit of an escape. It doesn't have the same impact most of the time, as long as I'm not watching anything too cognitively stimulating. That's the worst thing for sleep. So I'll just sometimes do that, but no screens. I'll read a book. And like I say, the phone's out of the room, so there's no distractions there of going on screens in the nighttime. But that bedtime routine is the most important thing. You know what I mean? Like you're never going to run away from that. Like, I can't even put it into words. And it's like people overlook this. It's such a terrible thing for your overall health. I'm telling you now, and just cortisol levels and sleep, stress levels, just get a bedtime routine locked in, right? And if you get the blue light blocker glasses, for example, the nighttime ones, then you basically only have to remember to put them on, right? It doesn't require discipline. It requires you to put them on, right? And then when you put them on, and when you are, look, because I'm working, right? I work right up until like an hour to 60, 90 minutes before bed, generally. And by putting them on, I'm blocking 97% of the blue lights, roughly, give or take. But that's not going to stop you being cognitively stimulated. You still have to have a routine, even with those glasses, but that'll help anyway. The last one, then, last but not least, is on the weekends, right? So this is a little kind of really important one. On the weekends, I tend to eat more like most people, right? I'm not tracking right now. Like I said, I rarely track my food. I just use it as a tool, probably for about 1 or 2 months of the year. But what I do is I will have a barbecue. So every weekend, what we've been doing now is we've got one of those charcoal barbecues, which we put on the balcony there, and bang, we will eat loads of meat, like a copious amount of meat, which is a lot more calories than usual. We'll have like chicken hearts. I tell you what, burgers, beef patties that we put on there. We don't have bread, obviously. Beef patties on the charcoal barbecue. Oh my days, epic. We'll stick on there as well picanha, which is like rump cap. It's basically like rump steak. Picanha is like a Brazilian name. Anyway, we slap all that on there. We'll eat more. We'll sometimes have like pancake, for example. We'll make like a healthy pancake just using whey protein, banana, almond meal. And then sometimes the treat will even add a little bit of peanut butter to as well and melt some dark chocolate into there. You know what I mean? So we don't do that every weekend, to be honest. But this is just an example of I'll eat a bit more, but it'll still be whole foods. You know what I mean? On the weekends. But I still, this habit though that I'm talking about, I still stick to 2 meals. Let me give you an example. On the weekend, we went for breakfast with friends, right, which we rarely do, brunch. And I ate, bacon. I ate like sourdough, which I never normally eat this stuff, right? Loads of eggs. It's just food that I didn't cook myself, avocado and stuff. And I had that. It was a big meal. But then I still stick to the rule of having 2 meals. So I trained in the morning. I didn't eat that till about 11:30 a.m., right? Like a late breakfast, like what I'd normally eat late anyway. And then in the evening, I just had like what I would normally have, right? The Greek yogurt and stuff like that, right? A little bit of meat or whatever, fruit. So I still stick to that rule of 2 meals generally on the weekends as well. That's pretty much an everyday thing. I go to Brazil next week for 6 weeks. And even there, like the food there is incredible because she lives in a town where the best, like literally the cows, like they own farms and stuff, right? She lives in farmland. It's called Mato Grosso do Sul, the state, and also Mato Grosso, the other state over. They have the best meat in the whole of Brazil. It's the quality of the food. I'm picking the fruits off the trees. It's cows that you see in the field is what you're eating. They own a farm, like I say, so I'm literally milking cows, right? I milk cows for the first time. So I'm milking literally my own milk and put it into a bucket. Her auntie, we went and hunted a chicken, killed it, and then I was taking the feathers off it, eating it, literally. Grow your own, kill your own, and eat your own. That's the way they do it in Brazil. But all that to say, I'll be eating good quality food, which I'm looking forward to, in case you didn't sense the excitement. But I'll still stick to the 2 meals most days. Now, some days what I will do is a snack. This is beautiful, by the way. Cheese, queso, they call it, right? Again, it's like 2 ingredients, milk, bacteria, whatever it is, right? And it tastes phenomenal, super clean. They have that with black coffee. That's like what they do for a snack. So if I do have a snack, instead of having my dark chocolate over there, I'll have like a little bit of cheese and black coffee. That's like a tradition over there. So, but other than that, it'll be 2 meals, right? Simple as that. And then what does it do? Again, it's health, right? It gives my body a chance to digest food. I can drink black coffee and get work done. And also, naturally, I'm just going to eat less than what I would if I ate 3 meals. All right, ladies and gents, I'm going to wrap that up there. And one more thing as well, I am actually looking to take on 2 more people by the end of the year. So if you've been thinking about working with me on a 1-to-1 level and you really want to drop stubborn belly fat, if you're already in motion, though, by the way, I work with people who are already in motion with their training. So you already have at least, say, a year's experience with strength training. You want to drop stubborn belly fat, particularly around the midsection. And you really want to dial in your habits and create lasting change with your habits and get into the shape of your life physically and mentally. Then all you got to do is the link is in the show notes, right? So you can apply to work with me, fill out the link in the show notes. Also the metabolic assessment and the reverse dieting guide, like I said, is all in the show notes just beneath this video on YouTube or beneath on Spotify. And last but not least, check out this video, right? So the next video here is a video which I put together, which is going to give you more of an in-depth insight into habits, habit change, and how you can cement in habits which are going to level up your lifestyle, your body, and also fat loss and muscle gain. So check out that next video. Speak soon.